The New Gods, issue 11, Ram V writing with Evan Cagle and Dennis Cowan on the art. So, yeah, I mean, this issue obviously teases the Black Racer, the new Black Racer, who gets a big entrance at the end of the issue when, like, you know, I think it's Joe and Kilowog are, like, standing in a Green Lantern ship, and they've got some constructs, but this Armada's coming, and, like, shit, this is just the start of this invasion. We need more firepower. And the Black Racer just starts, like, speeding through the other ships, like, destroying them. And Kilowog's like, there's that firepower you were hoping for. So, did like that. I will say, though, that a lot of this issue was fighting, so it was inherently less interesting, I think, than a lot of these New Gods issues have been. Because it's less the big ideas that Ram V really gives us, and it's more just kind of paying off what he's already set up with some big fights. Which is not bad, but it's definitely not as intriguing to me as it has been before.
Well, there's one moment in particular, and it's when Scott and Orion are talking about Kamal, about the kid, and it gets down. So they're in space, and it all looks great, right? The artwork here by CAGLE looks awesome, but
and the art by Cowan in the first 5 pages looks fantastic as well. Gorgeous
amazing
stuff.
as well, yeah. But then it goes to this like void page where Orion doesn't have his mask on, and he's sitting there next to Kamal, and they're sitting in the same like pose. And the conversation before this was about, you know, Orion's kind of change of heart in dealing with Kamal, right? Because he was going to kill him, so they couldn't, right? And he's like, you know, you were right about the kid, about me, about almost everything, Orion. We have to save him. Or he goes, I have to save him. He goes, no, Scott, we have to save him. And it goes to that like void page where it's just the two of them sitting together, and it just shows how like Orion has found common ground with this kid. Like, don't let who this kid is dictate to who he's going to be. And that in particular really resonated.
Well, that's something
that was a real nice piece here
that I think resonates for like these characters as a pair, Mr. Miracle and Orion. They're both kind of like different examples of products of either their, you know, upbringing versus their, you know, the nature versus nurture, right? And how they're both examples of one started in the good place but had to grow up in the bad place. The other's the opposite, and how they're both kind of ended up better for it. But it's kind of interesting. The big talking points here is there's a lot of granny goodness, like saying, Barda, you've always underestimated, you ever understood why I was the one that was training the Furies. It leads to a big full page spread of Barda being, well, very big Barda. She's like kaiju sized.
Biggest Barda.
I don't know if they set up why this happens, but
nope.
Yeah, okay. I was just checking. And then the other thing is that when Orion and Mr. Miracle get to decide, because he's basically sent off Max Lord with the kid into the black hole because they're going to the other side, and the power on the other side, which might be dark side, might not be, is going to use the kid. And maybe they'll stop it next issue, maybe they won't. But when they get to Desaad's like, oh, I've developed a weapon for you, Mr. Miracle. And he basically turns into a young, handsome man, but then he's got like one of those, what do you call those,
it's like an Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden, that's the one I was looking for, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that, but there's lots of chains as well that wrap him up, and then he goes inside the Iron Maiden, and it's basically like, oh, I love pain, and I can do this all day, but this weapon transfers all my pain to you. So Mr. Miracle starts like, you know, just screaming in agony. Yeah. He's being tortured effectively. And it's like, yeah. So the whole idea of this is like, you're good at getting out of traps, so the beauty of this thing, however it works, is that you're not trapped. This is not about trapping you. You can't escape this because it's got nothing to do with you being, but I'm the one who's trapped. I'm the one who's bound. You just get to feel what I'm feeling, kind of thing. So
yeah,
super.
And then
super
it gave a new version of Desaad too, when he takes that face, right, and he's just like, you know, I can put whatever face is given to me, like whatever I need it to be in the moment. You're bound by these laws of good and evil. I just like pain. And I was just like, oh man, it sounds creepy. Like he was given Hellraiser vibes, right? By there. So but yeah, I thought that was very, very interesting. That's how you defeat Mr. Miracle, who can get out of anything, right? Is no, you put yourself in a trap that he can't undo, right? Because what if he lets Desaad out of this? Right, if he can get it enough to, will it stop? Will it continue? Like, it's a whole different kind of thing. which I did like.
Yeah. No, I wonder. I'm looking at these pages because obviously Orion gets to Maxwell Lord and the kid, and Max Lord says, "Hey, like see a sample of this kid's power. It can rip you apart." And he makes the kid fire like a beam of energy at Orion. And Orion like sort of yells defiantly, "I will not be broken so easily," in this kind of like white and blue kind of panel. The only thing I'm wondering is if like this energy gets all the way to Earth and hits Barda, and that's why Barda goes big. Just because there's a little bit of weight on the next page. I may be reading into that too much, but it looks like what's his name? I forget his name. The one that's fighting with them. Akala.
Which one?
Akala.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the weight on that page is coming from him. To be fair, so I think I'm just reading into that too much. But I was just wondering. But yeah, I mean the ending's big. It feels like it's building to a big blowout. It feels like we're reaching big ideas. I think just inherently though, this book's been so interesting with like all of the New God stuff and the wars and Highfather like sort of stepping down and the history of all this stuff, that inherently this type of issue is just a little bit less fascinating. Well, still very good. It still looks good and it's still fun to read. And I do think those character moments are really good. I think the build up to the ending is really great and the cliffhanger's good. It's just not as special and amazing as some of the earlier issues have been. That's all I would really say here. But it feels like it's building to a satisfying conclusion though.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, definitely there's less introspection about the New Gods. Yes. I think for me, that's where this book was really cooking. And what it means, because we get a little bit from Max Lord being like, I'm human, kind of, and what does this kid mean for me? Right? We can't have this. I gotta use it to my advantage. I did like that. That was a little bit of it, but not as much as we've gotten in other ones. But yeah, that thing with Orion and him coming through and just the hand that's coming through looks like Darkseid's, right? So like the fact that they're unleashing Orion's true form in order to stop Darkseid from coming, or coming through, or whatever's on the other side of this, right? We think it's Darkseid. I like that as well because it's going to be his son stopping the father, right? In his true face. And that also goes into, what Desaad was saying about wearing different faces, and this is the one that fits him for right now. Orion's been doing that the whole time, right? So, I
guess
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I guess the main thing that just felt like up until the ending with Barda getting big, again very big, is I think that fight between like that group of characters with Granny and like the others, I think that's the part that felt a little bit like I saw them fighting last issue. I don't know if I needed much more of that this time.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the one bit that was dropping me down a little, but certainly still very good though, and like the art is very pretty throughout. That page where Barda's huge is very pretty to look at because you feel the sense of scale, and she's obviously just also like punched down onto Granny Goodness, so it feels like a little bit of a badass moment as well.
Yeah, talks about being more powerful than a mountain, right? The other connecting thing to that too is when Desaad unleashes this trap with that mirror, he speaks in those like glyphics.
That's true, and then Barda does
the same.
Yeah.
So there must be something to that I'm sure Ranvi will point out in the next, like maybe this is like the last of the New God energy. Something.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe the kid getting more and more activated is like just basically sharing out like New God energy at them. So this is like just random extra power effects that they're all getting if they happen to be New Gods.
Yeah,
maybe something like that.
It's more of the source, right?
Yeah, the source energy. Yeah.
Like undamming it a bit. So because it was all under Highfather, right? That was kind of his role. He was the shepherd, and now that it's going to Orion, things are a bit more in flux, maybe, and because of the kid as well. So, it's still pretty solid. This is what I love about Ranvi. Even a Ranvi story that we're kind of like, it was a little bit disappointing in a way. It's still really good,
Yeah, it just his caliber's so high, like his standard's so high that they're just inevitably when it's a little bit dipping, it's like, oh, this is weaker than normal, but it's still an excellent issue of a comic book, and I'm still loving the overall story. So, no, it's good stuff. What are you rating the New Gods issue 11?
I'm gonna use a straight 8.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. 8 out of 10, nice and simple.